Terence Crawford just got robbed, and the details of how it happened are truly unbelievable. He traveled to the United Kingdom with excitement to attend one of the biggest boxing events of the year. While sitting in the row behind Tyson Fury at the Joshua Dubois fight, the Nebraska champion had every reason to feel happy and enjoy the moment. Until this happened. Just like anyone would, Crawford probably wished that his good days could have continued until he got back home. Unfortunately, things didn't go as smoothly as he might have hoped. Instead of a peaceful journey, the former two-division undisputed champion had what seemed like a terrible air travel experience while he was heading to Europe. From what we can tell, it was one of those travel nightmares that no one wants to go through. It wasn't the smooth, easy trip Crawford was likely expecting. In a series of posts, Bud Crawford shared just how frustrating his travel experience was. Not only did the airline make him miss his original flight, but things got even worse when they lost his baggage. And it wasn't just any luggage, it was worth a lot of money. You can imagine how upset he must have been. This all happened around his birthday, making the situation even more disappointing. Instead of celebrating or enjoying his trip, Crawford had to deal with the stress of missing his flight and losing his valuable belongings. If you ask me, it was definitely not the kind of birthday surprise he wanted. On X, he called out British Airways for what he described as complete negligence. The fact that they caused him to miss his flight was aggravated with an even worse turn when his luggage went missing. Crawford claimed that the baggage handlers had stolen items he had just bought at the Lewis store in the international terminal. Of course, Crawford deserves answers for what happened. Some people might think, well, he's rich, so he can just buy new things. But that doesn't change the fact that what happened was disrespectful. Just because someone has a lot of money doesn't mean their things should be treated carelessly or stolen. It's about respect for his hard-earned money. Crawford worked hard for everything he has, and it's unfair for someone to take that for granted. The items he lost may have been expensive, but they represent more than just money. They're a part of his effort, his journey, and his success. Losing them in such a careless way must have felt like a slap in the face. At the end of the day, all Crawford is asking for is a little respect. No one deserves to have their belongings stolen or to be treated poorly, no matter how much money they have. Some of the stolen items were clothes he bought for his children. Imagine how disappointing that must have been for him. He spent a lot of money on this trip, hoping to enjoy it and bring back something special for his kids. After spending so much on his trip and shopping, he was left with only one pair of pants and 2 shirts. That's a pretty tough spot to be in, especially for someone who had expected a smooth trip. The champion, Terence Crawford, shared more about his frustrating experience through his Instagram story. It turns out that his troubles started with a delayed flight from Rome. Because of this, he missed his connecting flight to Brazil, which made the whole situation even worse. It's one thing to have travel delays, but it's even more frustrating when it ruins your special day. Finally expressing his frustration over the terrible experience on his birthday, Terence Crawford said, "This birthday is trash. I'm so mad I can't sleep or eat. I'm out." And honestly, who wouldn't be upset? Even the most successful person would be furious after going through such poor service. It's one thing to miss a flight or lose luggage, but having your belongings stolen is a whole different level of frustration. Anyone in Crawford's position would feel the same way. The authorities need to ensure that those responsible are held accountable. The employees involved should be legally punished, and the airline must answer for hiring people who commit theft. This kind of negligence and disrespect should never go unchecked. Now, how did this event affect his recently talked about deal with Conor McGregor? You see, Terence Crawford has revealed talks he held with UFC superstar Conor McGregor over a 2-fight deal that would see the combat sports superstars compete both in boxing and in MMA. How has this unfortunate event impacted Terence Crawford's much-discussed deal with Conor McGregor? Well, it's important to note that Crawford recently revealed he had talks with UFC superstar Conor McGregor about a potential two-fight deal. This exciting agreement would have the combat sports icons face off in both boxing and MMA, bringing together the best of both worlds. But with the frustrations of his recent travel troubles still fresh, one can't help but wonder if these distractions have affected his focus on the negotiations or preparation for such a massive crossover. In a late September interview with DualBits, Conor McGregor revealed that he had discussions with Terence Crawford about a potential boxing match. This would mark McGregor's second boxing fight, as he previously faced Floyd Mayweather Jr., lasting 10 rounds before being stopped while still on his feet in one of the highest-grossing pay-per-view events of all time. Now, given the wealth generated from his first boxing match, it's not surprising that McGregor is considering a second fight in the sport. However, what caught many off guard was his willingness to challenge one of the best boxers currently in the ring. During the DualBits interview, McGregor mentioned the idea of a two-fight deal. However, he revealed that Crawford rejected the offer, quoting him as saying, "I don't fancy taking a kick off Conor McGregor." It's hard to say whether Crawford's comments were meant to be disrespectful toward McGregor. However, one thing is clear. McGregor is not on Crawford's list of preferred opponents. Terence Crawford shared an interesting story about a conversation he had with Conor McGregor. He mentioned that McGregor was the first one to reach out to him. Well, it's not every day that a famous MMA fighter tries to get in touch with a boxer. This made people wonder why McGregor wanted to fight Crawford so badly. Was he eager for a challenge? Or did he see this as a chance to prove himself in boxing? Whatever the reason, it seemed like McGregor was ready to step into the boxing world and take on a top opponent. They called me, they offered me the fight. Me and Conor got on the phone. We started politicking, trying to figure something out. The reason Crawford turned down the fight deal wasn't because he was afraid to face McGregor. Instead, he recognized that he would be at a significant disadvantage, especially if the fight took place in the octagon. I just told him, "Man, I'm not getting an octagon with you, so you can be kicking me and elbowing me," and so he gets to laughing and all that. In 2023, Crawford achieved one of the biggest victories in modern boxing by defeating Errol Spence Jr. in a thrilling welterweight showdown in Las Vegas. Despite this impressive win, he lost some momentum by not stepping back into the ring immediately after the fight. Instead, he went on to face Israel Madrimov in his next bout. So right now, the world awaits who Crawford will fight next. But the more interesting question should be, who is going to fight Crawford? What are your thoughts on this? Please let me know down below.